Wabbit explosion! I'm dead! The Wabbits are dead. Everything's dead. This is the most morbid episode of Dokapon you've seen. Guaranteed. Or your money back, the money you didn't spend watching this. Speaking of spending money, so Star Citizen, upgrading my Corsair. Okay, so I'm at the point where I'm thinking, is the Corsair maybe, pray tell, is the Corsair maybe too small or is it too big? You know, what if I had a Freelancer Dur or a Spirit C1 or a Cutlass? Or what if I had RSI Galaxy, an Odyssey, a Polaris? And you know, it really does get me thinking, get me wondering, what do I need? What do I want? And I think the answer is I'm going to keep the Corsair, but it does raise some interesting questions, especially because, like, well, okay, if I did have to upgrade from the Corsair, because, like, changing over to a C1 does actually sound enticing to me. But downgrading, going to a cheaper ship, not gonna happen. I don't want to play the CCU game and the melting game any more than I already have, and frankly, it's at that point it's cheap enough that I'll just get in the game. So let's see. So, you know, C1, you know, it just, but to go over the C1, you know, it is interesting. It is, I think it's a really sleek ship. Frankly, it's like it's really more of a one kind of two-man ship, kind of in the same vein as the Reliant, but a bit different. And, you know, it seems like it could still be a useful utilitarian ship, just more not very combat focused, but could probably do in a pinch. The Freelancer Dur would actually be a nice thing. I mean, there's some problems with the Freelancer series in general, but like, basically just a Freelancer with extended range. I could get behind that. I could really get behind that. That actually would not be a terrible. I would not disapprove of that. But again, not going to downgrade. So, RSI Galaxy? Well, the biggest thing is if I want a ship if I wanted a ship that was bigger, I would really, really appreciate having a hangar that the Reliant could fit in, which is a small hangar. It will fit in a small hangar sideways, so it will fit in the Odyssey, but you're probably not going to be able to actually, like, spawn it in the Odyssey. Which is still a pain, but you're not getting a size 3... You're not getting a size 3 landing pad on a ship unless it's like a fucking Kraken, which at that point, cool, and I'd love one, bit expensive for me. Probably out of game, absolutely. In game, absolutely. Probably really high ranking goal at that point. So the Galaxy has a extra small, I would need a small, which is fine, because I think honestly that I would probably not, I would want to be able to carry my Reliant around so I could just, you know, pack up all my stuff and go from one system to another system, but like at the same time, I'd want to like, I like that idea, but I also, don't really, I'm not as big a fan of that idea. I think I would actually more want to establish like a trading outpost, you know, trading outpost base thing, org, locale, in a system and then move on. In which case, I've built up enough support that it would not be a issue or a problem at all to just move bases. So the RSI Galaxy could work, but a little bit of a big crew size. I think you could probably run it with a minimum of 4 people. But it's also only got size 5 guns, which is kind of, they're too big for me to really care about. Size 4, I want like at least some like size 4 max turrets, which is the same problem I have with the Odyssey. The Carrack is a bit too overhyped, but it is increasingly becoming more of a like, you know what, okay, I could see this being actually the thing I want. Funny enough. It doesn't have any like, so you know, size 4 is more like the max of what a anti-fighter turret is supposed to be, and size 5 is like the minimum of what a anti-larger ship gun is supposed to be. So that's where my mind's at on that front. So that's the Odyssey. I mean, also like the refinery thing is and don't get me wrong, the Galaxy seems like it'll be cool, but it makes me just want the Polaris even more. Like, you know what, yeah, this is a thing I want. But then it's also expensive, and it's gonna need a much bigger crew. Like, it said 5 crew. No, like, there's 5 turrets, I think. Like, minimum 5 turrets, and I think it might be 7. Like, you need like 10 people to run that ship. And as much as I'd love to say like, oh yeah, you know, well, I'll just go and build up my own community, my own org. It'll have a bunch of people, you know, it'll be no problem. And you know, I do hope that'll happen. But also that I don't want to count on that, and that seems, well, if it happens, it happens, and I get that ship. But you know what despite that fact, what I would actually probably want to go with if I did upgrade my Corsair, which again, like the Corsair, like I can't get a crew of 4 together, so the Corsair maybe it is genuinely too big for me, but you know, but it can fit the role well enough. The Endeavor, so the RSI Galaxy, $350. So if I was going to upgrade to that, $350, it's only like $100. It's, you know, it's reasonable enough. I mean, again, I'm not doing that, but it's reasonable enough. The Endeavor is also $350. The Endeavor, if you don't know, is the modular ship. It is a flying space station. Now, granted, upgrading to it, I don't think would actually include any of the modules, but also, fuck it, I've got an Endeavor. Like, that ship, probably when it gets released, if they sell it, it's going to be like, it's got to be like $1,000 when they sell it proper, when it's actually released. So it would be a really good deal. It's a really good deal, and will continue to be a good deal until somebody listens to the some marketing guy gets wind of the whole thing about it. But then it's also kind of incentivizes people to upgrade to Endeavors because, you know, they are super they appear to be a super good deal, so you know how that goes.